Hey you guys, it's your boy Josh Vision bringing to you my Gotham Season 3 Episode 1 review. So, pretty much this episode, in my opinion, it was a really good episode. Might even say a great episode. We have so many things that happened. But to start things off, we begin this episode with Gordon finding Lee. And it turns out that Lee has pretty much thrown Gordon to the wayside. She has found another man. And it was kind of sad, because Gordon got his best suit on, actually did his hair for once, and had flowers in her door, but it just was not meant to be. So the next scene, I believe, takes place exactly 6 months. So we have a 6 month time skip from after when Gordon sees Lee with her new man. So we see this pharmacy being robbed. We see the guy in charge of it. He has a big ass, shotgun, trying to figure out like who's there. Turns out we see this dinosaur looking brother, and he's searching for something. And he just manhandles this guy. Looks like he's about to kill him, but Gordon shows up. He got his little baton, I believe, something that looked really epic as a weapon. But Gordon was holding his own, but that dinosaur was whooping his ass. And the only reason why Gordon was able to capture him was pretty much, because the dinosaur guy got hit by a truck. So the next scene, we're at the GCPD, and, we have the reporters asking the mayor, and I forgot the bald dude's name. I remember that he was on the Shield. But the next episode review, I'll remember it. I promise you guys. So they're getting questions, having like by the press, whatever. And the commissioner guy's like, listen, we had a few bounty hunters take, only a handful of these bounty hunters able to bring these, what apparently seems to be a lot of dinosaur-like beings running through Gotham as of now. But only a handful of these bounty hunters have brought them in. But the majority has been done by the GPCD. Bullshit. Anywho, we have pretty much Gordon and Bullock overseeing what's going downstairs, and we're introduced to Jamie Chung's character. Her name is Valerie Vale, and she's pulling no punches. She's really, trying to get the scoop on what's really happening. Especially after the mayor said, listen, these are not monsters, these are victims, and they should be treated and helped and given money to. And I also believe he said lauded, approval and all that shit. So Valerie's like, wait, weren't they considered mentally insane? That's why they went to Indian Hill in the first place, right? So how are they the victims? And then another thing she says is I've heard that the only people that you arrested from the Indian Hills fiasco was Hugo Strange and pretty much his second in command, the fat black lady. So how many escapees are on the run? Is it 20 or 30? And can we handle it? I mean, can you guys even handle it? This seems like such a big threat. And pretty much after that, I believe she says that I've heard that somehow the Wayne Enterprise is involved in this whole Indian Hill fiasco. So what's the deal with that? And the commissioner and the mayor look at each other just like, damn, dude. Just give us a break. The mayor at one point says, next question. Or someone else, So after this, we have Gordon and Bullock talking. So we get a lot through this conversation. Pretty much Gordon has essentially become a drunk, essentially. Sort of like Bullock. Bullock is trying to get Gordon to pretty much get over his funk with Lee, saying that's not your fault. You need to get over it. Shit like this happens all the time. And I believe Lucius Fox is actually working for the police, GPCD. And we have this funny thing in which Bullock's like, listen, Lucius used to work for Wayne Enterprises, but now he's working here. He loves it here. And Lucius said a few things saying that he thinks there's too much media press. He thinks it's kind of a really violent atmosphere and culture and stuff like that, to the point where Bullock's like, Lucius. Give him that look, dude, shut the hell up. Lucius like, but I love it here. So we have pretty much Gordon say, listen, the reason there's a few perks to not being a cop anymore. Even though Bullock says that you're pretty much a cop and everything but name, he pretty much says that I pretty much don't have to listen to the commissioner. I can pretty much clock out when I want, and I get paid a lot of money. I think he gets paid around $5,000 per as a bounty hunter since Gordon's now a bounty hunter. He gets $5,000 per animal, whatever, mutant shit, whatever he brings back to the GPCD. So yeah, so I think that's essentially what he says about that. Pretty much he's his own boss. And Bullock tries yet again to be like, come on, man, let's try to find out more about what's happening, whatever, like the old days. And Gordon's like, nah, bro. And ironically, right when he says that, the star of the fucking show, Penguin, shows up. And Penguin calls the commissioner, the mayor, a bunch of liars. He says you should tell Gotham the truth. And we see Valerie asking Penguins a lot of questions. And the Penguin's kind of, how Penguin is, kind of dismissive, kind of condescending, and like, duh, But pretty much the message that Penguin establishes the fact that Fish Mooney is still alive. And the commissioner's like, no, there's no way she could be alive. Penguin's like, yes, she's alive. And she's a murderer. And to all those watching at home, the parents, children, y'all should stay in because she's dangerous, and vice versa. He pretty much gets his message across. I think he also, if I remember correctly, he wanted them to bring her to him, but I don't think he said that. I think that was pretty much the next scene, which I'm about to go into. So anywho, we have this little brief interaction with Penguin and Gordon. Which is ironic about is that Gordon has his back towards Penguin. And Penguin says something about how it's ironic that Gordon is like what he is now, even though he thought he was a cop. And something along the lines of which I believe Gordon says that I'm not gonna be the one to help, bring her to you because you haven't reached my price range yet. And from that point, we have Butch kind of in the background, kind of smirking a bit after he says that, and Penguin kind of just sort of thinks to himself, damn, he has a point. So the next scene we see Tabitha and we see Barbara. So they own this club, and we see Penguin with Butch coming in. So Penguin lets them know that he has essentially a bounty on Fish. He wants Fish to be brought to him for about $1 million. And he tells Tabitha that I thought you would be ecstatic considering you killed my mother. And we have Butch. He's still feeling Tabitha. He's all like struggling to say these words, whatever, and all this shit. And at one point, Penguin's like, Jesus Christ, just sit down, man. Just sit down. So after Penguin has a conversation, with Barbara, pretty much saying that she owes him, we have Selena come to the scene. Selena trying to lift up Butch's spirit. But we all know how Selena is. Selena always has ulterior motives. And Butch is like, listen, this is a club. You're underage. Get out of here. Scram. And Selena's like, all right, just try to help a brother out, And she robs the dude of his wallet. And even Penguin says to Butch, listen, this is stupid for you to be all head over heels over Tabitha. Deal with it. Bad shit happens in life. We don't always get what we want. And by the way, that child just robbed you, bro. And then just left it right there. So we have Alfred and Bruce returning from their trip. And Bruce asks Alfred, why did we even come back? And Alfred's like, listen, man, you know damn well why we came back. And essentially we have Bruce, return to Wayne Enterprises. Him and Alfred are pretty much laying down the gauntlet saying, listen, I'm aware of this court of owls. I know there's probably a member or some connection, to that council, whatever, ancient council, that's in this very fucking room. So I want you to know, whoever you are, that I want to speak to him. I want to speak to the leader. I don't give a shit. Anyone that has to deal with them, anyone that in that whole little set, I want to speak to. Laying down the gauntlet, young Bruce Wayne. You have this dude that's really like disrespectful as fuck. Just laughing at it, saying, do you really believe this? And Alfred had to pretty much check this dude, saying, excuse me, what is your name, sir? and then pretty much put him in his place saying, listen, you will listen and obey. Alfred being the G that he is and shit. So after this, we have, I believe, the leader of the Court of Owls, the lady with the mask on her face, pretty much hiring an assassin, saying, all right, kill the boy, all right? Kill him, take him, all that shit. So he's already got his orders, and he's about to do the do. So we have Bruce and Alfred back in the mansion, and Bruce goes somewhere briefly, and Alfred is attacked by this, by the hired assassin. And Alfred puts up a good fight, but the dude beats the shit out of him and knocks him unconscious. And I believe he does something to Bruce, which he puts him to sleep, puts something over his mouth, and pretty much Bruce is gone, and Alfred is unconscious. So I believe, no, there's a few more things I have to hit on. So in terms of Valerie Vale, at first when I saw this episode, I had assumed that it was going to be some type of interesting relationship developing between her and Penguin. I just thought just from watching, I just thought, well, damn, they would be an interest. I wouldn't say necessarily a couple, but something, beyond, the usual. I don't know, probably like friends or whatever, friends with benefits, maybe acquaintances, whatever. But turns out she's feeling Gordon right now. Seems as though, because I believe Selena told her that I heard you want some scoop on fish, and she told her. So we have Valerie meeting up with Gordon. She knows everything about Gordon. We find out that, she has her father's a cop, her brother's a cop, and her uncle's a cop. So she understands the whole, thing about being a cop, knows everything about Gordon's life, etc., and being a war hero and all that. So I believe that Gordon tricked her into thinking that he kind of had a lead on Fish Mooney, kind of made a fool out of her, and at the same time he got yelled at, him and Bullock, because him and Bullock sort of concocted the idea, together, whatever. Commissioner was pissed, obviously. But that was pretty much it. Besides that, the last scene was Valerie in the red room, whatever, developing her photos and just particularly focusing in on Gordon, when he attacked, when him trying to save one of those, I would assume, experiment escapees, whatever, from falling out of the window. So it seems as though she might be Gordon's love interest, or at least obsessively going after Gordon this season. It might be a little love triangle between her and Lee. But yeah, after that, essentially, we had Penguin visiting the Riddler in jail, and I believe he gave the Riddler a puzzle, saying that there's been quite a few mathematicians that couldn't break it, and the Riddler just finished it literally like in 30 fucking seconds. He just finished it just like that. And the Penguin was just kind of sharp. He was like, amazing, just giving him props, whatever. And the Riddler's like, why are you here, Mister? And then Penguin's like, listen, don't say Mister, just say Penguin. He's like, Penguin, why are you here? And why do I deserve all this, quote unquote love and all this shit? And Penguin pretty much says that you were there when I needed you, and I'm just, giving you back, the favor and all that stuff, and the only one I truly trust. So he talks about briefly the whole Fish Mooney being back, how she's being like quite a nuisance, and how he's kind of trying to figure out how to deal with her. And pretty much in layman's terms, pretty much getting to the nitty gritty, what the Riddler says. He says that, listen, sometimes there's no need for complicated ways on how to solve a problem. Sometimes the simplest things is the easiest way and most proficient way on how to deal with it. Pretty much, dude, just remember, penguins eat fish, not the other way around. That was such a badass line, and that struck a chord definitely with Penguin. So, in regards to Fish Mooney, as we've seen from, the season finale of last season, season 2, she has new powers due to Hugo Strange and his little crazy ass, second command lady fucking with her DNA. But we find out as her and Selena pretty much take out this guard, that when someone touches her, she can, sort of like season finale, she pretty much commands what to do, like a puppet, whatever. But it turns out that power has a drawback. It makes her really starts to hurt her, makes her like get all like And what's interesting about this, especially like later in the scene, actually I believe she faced Gordon. Well, she had the bat guy face Gordon, and she says, "So are you after me too?" And she mentions to Gordon that I can't believe I let that punk live, aka Penguin. Even though I don't know why she would still say punk, it's like, come on. At some point, I give some respect to Penguin for where he came from. Rising above, the usual and pretty much killing you. You would think she would have earned some type of respect for Penguin by now, but I guess even death doesn't bring Penguin any favors when it comes to Fish. But anywho, she tries to trick Gordon the same way she did the other guard by having him touch her, and he's like, "Nah, I don't trust you. Put the cuffs on." So she escapes essentially due to the bat dude attacking Gordon, and Gordon pretty much being the guy's ass, and that bat dude running away. And the bat guy is the guy which Gordon had to beat again when he tried to find Hugo Strange's second command when he was with Valerie Vale. So essentially, we have to end this review. We had Fish Mooney people finally get the second command lady. And the second command lady says, listen, the reason why you're having all these drawbacks when you use this power is because you're overusing it. And your DNA is rejecting the mutations, I believe she said, that we put in you and shit. And it's going to get even worse the more you use it. And Fish is like, okay, then how do I stop it? She's like, well, you have to stop it by stop using the powers in general. Just shut that shit down. And Fish is like, no, I kind of like it. And she essentially has one of her peeps just essentially do this, like, just kill kill the second command lady by sort of, I believe, holding on to her too long or something, because she literally became a monster, and then she just shrunk to, like, she just shriveled up and just died like a little in like a skinny ass alligator form. So after that, we have Ivy being pretty much brought to Fish and Selena. And this was very interesting because Ivy's all saying, oh, so these are the monsters you're talking about, which everyone's talking about? And Fish is like, you best tell your girl, Selena, to watch her mouth because we're not monsters. And Selena's trying to shut Ivy up, but as we all know, through the character, Ivy has a hard time shutting the fuck up. And also, yeah, it was really cringy because the dude touched Ivy. They brought her out, and I believe the dude touched Ivy. I think their intention were to kill her. Selena was all against it, whatever. But Ivy falls, I believe, in the sewer, right when the guy touches her. So that was just crazy because Selena, that's Selena's best friend one night. And that's really interesting because it's like, okay, Fish has been a role model for Selena. But to see what Fish did to Ivy, who's a fucking girl, you know what I mean? She's not a grown-ass woman, she's not an adult, she's just a fucking kid. And for her to get to that point, to have her goons do that to a fucking kid, despite the fact she's like a mother / mentor, or at least an older sister type mentor to Selena, I feel as though Selena is gonna want some type of payback. You know what I'm saying? Selena's not the type that's gonna roll over. Selena's the type that if you fuck with her, she's gonna get you at some point. She's gonna get her payback. So it's gonna be interesting to see how she does it. Then again, regarding to pretty much the next episode preview, we see that that Ivy has grown up. She's alive, and she seems to be an adult as of now. So if that's the case, then it's more interesting to see who's actually going to take Fish Mooney out this time around. Is it going to be Penguin alone like he did last time? Or is it going to be pretty much like a 4-on-1? Because Gordon has to be there to take her out. Because Fish is going to be the main villain for this season. You can just tell her off the bat. So it's most likely going to be Gordon, a combination of Gordon, Poison Ivy, Selena, and Penguin. Then again, I can see them probably have Ivy do all the damage to Fish, and then Penguin sneaking in for the final kill and pretty much putting Fish out of her misery, for good. But it's just interesting because, just for season 3, this episode, there's so many possibilities, for how the season's going to go. And I can just tell this is going to be even better than season 2 and season 1. I'm just excited, for it. So pretty much that's all I have to say in regards to this episode. Wait, hold it. There was one thing I wanted to mention. The reason why Gordon was after Fish, while he was going after Fish, whatever, I can remember Lucius saying, like pretty much in the first scene, that the dinosaur people, whatever, that's been showing up, they've been going, there's only 3 pharmacies in Gotham that have a certain type of immune type of drug pill, and that's the thing that's causing the dinosaur people to go to the pharmacies, because it's something to do, it's something to do with why they are the way they are. Maybe they need more of it or something. Just food for thought. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Like the video if you can. Subscribe to my channel if you can. And write some comments down below. This is your boy Josh Vision. And thank you. Bye.